Todd, lead singer, frontman for Buckcherry. They are about to release their can I be right? Ninth full-length studio LP. It's called Hellbound. It's going to be out June 25th
June
on,
25th, yeah.
yeah, Round Hill Music. New label for you. That's exciting too. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I think we've been on them all. Every label
Yeah.
you can think of.
And that's what's great. That's one thing I love a lot of things about your band, but one thing is, you guys were done. You were done for a couple of years there. And then here we are, stronger than ever. It's great to have you still in the game, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, 22 years now, and um I don't like to say that we were done at that point, but we were definitely on a long hiatus there between record two and record three. And,
Yeah.
it needed to happen because then we got 15 after that, which was a great record, of course.
Yeah.
And then, we had a break before this Hellbound drop because of COVID. And,
Yeah.
anytime this band is historically backed up against the wall, we always come out with our best stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so great to see, man. Now, speaking of COVID, I mean, you got a couple of kids at home. Southern one is older. Yeah,
Yes.
she's what, 20, in her late 20s now, right?
She's 26. Yeah.
26. Unbelievable, man.
She just had a little baby girl. Clementine.
Awesome. Congrats,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah.
way cool.
Thanks.
That is cool.
Awesome.
But you got young kids, what, 12 and 15?
Yes.
Yeah. So COVID put you at home, you're off the road, you're a road dog otherwise. uh it's kind of the silver lining, maybe a little family time, little writing time, recording time.
I wish it was that sweet. No, it was a process for all of us because we, like you said, we pretty much spent most of our time on the road, not at home. So, it was a big process, especially for my wife and I to have the kids home for months and months. That's very taxing. It's really hard to keep everybody happy. So, it becomes this, balancing act. And I'm sure every family worldwide was dealing with that.
Yeah.
So that being said, yeah, we definitely got closer for sure. And no, it was good. It was a good experience, but you know, just a few weeks into it, we realized that we really needed to get to work on some new material because we kind of saw it all happening, that the whole year was going to be kind of go away as far as touring goes. So,
Right.
we knew that by the time all the dust settled, we were going to have a great new record.
Yeah, and you do, man. 10 great tracks, man. You brought Marty Friedman back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know that he ever went away. I mean, you guys have always communicated with him on a writing level and all of that, even since Black Butterfly. But back Black Butterfly in 2008, he produced that entire record. And now he came back for this record. What made you bring Marty back for the full production?
Oh man, he's just he's great. He's a real producer. He's just he's multifunctional. Like he co-writes songs with us. He's a great producer. He's a great mixer. Yeah, he brings out the best in all of us, and he understands what's special about this band most of all. And we were so glad to be back with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great to have him back. He's, of course, an amazing genius writer, and I mean, the guy is he's the whole package for sure. Speaking of producers, I know you always cite Minor Threat and Ian MacKaye as big influence.
Yeah.
And now Ian MacKaye has Discord Records. Did you early on? Did you ever consider him to produce a Buckcherry record? I always think about that. What that collaboration would be like.
Oh wow, I didn't know Disney produce. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been keeping up with him and all his stuff, but I mean that's really cool. Yeah, it was, Minor Threat was like a really important time in my life, so that's why I always speak of those records. I was going through a lot at that time, and those records really gave me comfort and stuff. To use them as a producer, that would be really cool. But I think I would have to want to write like a different type of record. It might be cool to do something, on my own outside of BC, but
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. And of course, that would be only if he'd want to work together.
Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I always think about that. You got 10 songs on this record, and it is structurally like a typical Buckcherry record. You have that jump out and grab your throat thing in the beginning, and you have a ballad on there, which is an amazing ballad.
Thank you.
It's really great. What's on the cutting room floor? Did you record these 10 songs and that's it, or do you have
No, we wrote about 28 songs for a 10 song record. We write a lot.
Yeah.
But usually the songs that don't make the record don't make it for a reason. They're just not quite as good. There may be like a good chorus or a good pre-chorus, but as a whole, the song's not jiving, for whatever reason. And we don't really go back and revisit too many old songs that didn't make records.
Wow.
But I think there's like probably maybe four that could possibly make it on another Buckcherry record that are sitting there. But this record is really cohesive from beginning to end. It's got great dynamics. It really is, a masterpiece from where we stand. As far as songwriters and writing and this band is concerned, it just came together really well, and we're really proud of it. Can't wait for it to hit the streets June 25th. And we dropped our first single, So Hot, and we have a great video out as well for that, and it just did so well. And then we're dropping the title track, Hellbound, here on Wednesday, the June 20 or not June, May 26th. We're dropping the video for Hellbound and the song, so keep an eye out for that. It's really good.
Oh, that's that one. Now, I listen to these records and it's, some really connect. And all of them, you appreciate all of them, but you have your favorites.
Yes.
The title track just smacked me in the face. I really connected with that. When you listen, I suppose you're the same way. You listen to an AC/DC record, you have your favorite tracks, you like them all, but you have your favorite ones. Do you feel that way about your own things? I know, most of the musicians, they're like your kids, the songs. Do you have ones that do you have favorites on the album?
Oh, absolutely. Hellbound is my favorite rock track for sure. I just love the vocal on that. I feel like, I just feel like it rips, and it's just, it's got good pocket and a song that you can dance to and rock to, like a typical great AC/DC song. So yeah, I love that song. And then there's a song called The Way that, really reminds me of the Beatles. And that's probably the other flavor on this record that's really amazing. And it's such an epic song now in a Buckcherry set live too. So, I think those are good dynamics. And then one of the Creeper tracks that, wasn't really a song that stood out, but was always in everybody's lists as far as song picks, is Gun. Gun's really starting to be a song. Actually started singing it at rehearsal, and I just think, oh, this is gonna be amazing,
Yeah. Oh, Gun is, and back to back with Hellbound. It's one of those 1-2 punches that's just brutal. And it reminded me actually of the All Night Long record with, All Night Long. I think, and I think every band should open with All Night Long. That's just a crazy great opening track, man. Back to back with It's a Party, and it's like, it's a 1-2 punch, man. And Hellbound and Gun kind of struck me that same way. Just great stuff. We live in a time where people are ultra sensitive too, and you've always been no doubt about that, right? You would know, you guys are like the ultimate middle finger to all of that. You dance to the beat of your own drum. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
when you were writing for the album, did you ever come up across write something where you were a little apprehensive about putting it out? Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, or anything like that. I don't think you do, right? It's all no holds barred for you.
No, I definitely think of it. Of course, I think when we were making the fuck EP, I looked at it as like, fuck, the word fuck has so many different meanings, and let's do something fun. Let's write an EP, which I was always huge fans of EPs when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And but the whole formula is it's got to have fuck in every chorus, And it sounds funny, but it was really challenging, and fun. And but I think one of the songs that we started writing, I want to write a song that would intimidate us, and that was this song called Somebody Fucked With Me. And I just really got down to my inner child on that one, and wrote from that perspective. And it is a brutal song lyrically. And sometimes we'll play that live, and you'll see some people exiting the venue because they just can't take it anymore, And so occasionally I'll be like, that may be a little too much for some people, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's super honest and sincere,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved about America at that time.
Right.
And as far as expressing yourself, it's the best place to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything on this record that you didn't include because maybe it was a little over the top?
No, I wasn't feeling in that mode. I wasn't in that mode. I'm not angry right
Yeah,
now. Like,
it's good.
I don't know. You'd think 2020 made me angry, but I was like completely the opposite. I was thinking more, we were just talking, Stevie and I go, what are people going to want to hear after they've been inundated with pandemic and COVID and the election and racism and gun violence? They're not going to want to hear songs about all that. They're going to want to go out and have a great fucking time. You know what
Yep.
I mean? That's
Yep.
what they want. And so I think that's where songs like Hellbound and So Hot and, songs like that, No More Lies, they're just, we want to host a party. Ultimately, that's what's great about Buckcherry. You go to have a good time. That's what this band's all about. I mean, it's about the live experience and having a good time. And yeah, we'll have some aggressive songs thrown in there and songs that make you think a little bit. But at the end of the day, we want to have fun.
It's a party. Yeah.
It is
Oh,
a party. It is a party.
And it brings me back. I saw you guys in 2020, right before the pandemic, and it was a party. It's always a great show. I've seen you a few times, and it's always
Thank
a
you.
fun show. But I noticed, like I said, All Night Long is a great opener. You don't open with that. You didn't do it.
Right.
Are there certain songs that you really like the song, but you don't really want to play them? Is there anything like that for you? Not necessarily that one, but
There's not songs I stay away from for any reason. I just, All Night Long is a kind of four on the floor songs. So so you have to manage this set, to have dynamics. If you just put all those in one set, it's like it's one tempo the whole way through, and so as a singer and as somebody who's constructing a set, I got to have peaks and valleys, to work. I got to have dynamics throughout the night, especially for my voice as well. You got to have times when you are singing your lower register as well as your higher one. So that's the only reason. And there's the other reason is we have over 100 songs out there. So it becomes a headlining set is like 15, 16 songs. So now you know how hard, and everybody wants their usual suspects, which is Sorry, Riding, Lit Up, Crazy Bitch. Those have always got to be in there. And then, you got to rotate we have singles and videos for so many songs,
Yeah.
So that's the only reason.
It's really, really tough. I don't know how, I don't know how you do it. It's picking a set list for you guys is crazy. Um, you mentioned your voice and having the peaks and valleys and taking care of your instrument. Uh, when I saw you, I just noticed, I took voice for a couple of years myself, and I just noticed your posture, the way you hold the microphone. You're very loose. You really have a lot of great control and training aspects. Just the way you present yourself and sing on stage. I expected the white knuckle thing down, you know, guttural thing. I
Not
didn't
good.
get that, not at all. So I mean, your training as a vocalist, how far back
Yeah.
did that go?
Well, what you speak of is because I became a real student of vocal technique, at one point, only from doing the wrong thing for a long time. When I was a kid, I tried to get vocal lessons, and it was a female, and she sent me home with like police, every breath you take, go learn this song. And I love the song, but I wasn't into that. I wanted to
Right.
sing like Brian Johnson at that time, and I didn't learn the song. I came back and I showed her Back in Black. I go, I want to sing like this. And she's like, oh, she goes, oh, we don't teach that here. And I go, okay. And I left and I proceeded to just teach myself. So I learned a lot of bad habits. And, but, I have, I'm very driven. So I got a record deal and recorded my first record and went on my first tour with all those bad habits before I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I was blowing out my voice a lot on the first tour. And so I got a vocal coach. And then when I started learning warm ups, I'm like, oh my God, like I got to really, I've been doing, my whole technique has been wrong. And so I started working with a guy named Mark Baxter, who's amazing. If you want to check him out, voicelessons.com.
Excellent.
He works with a lot of vocalists, and he also is really he studies the voice and the larynx and everything about the
Science.
physical
Yeah.
voice. Yeah, and he wrote a book about singing, and I forget the name of the book. I wish I could remember it, but anyways, I got the book and I read the book, and it was about a lot of the technique of how you hold a microphone. I mean, I could go on and on about vocal technique, but I mean, there's a lot
Right.
of things that you can do wrong just by simply the way you grip a microphone. So I got into that and about how I hit my notes. And what I was doing before is I was loading up with a lot of air to hit a note. And that is the absolute wrong thing to do, because that's where you really can hurt yourself. You can run into really fatigue your voice, all that kind of stuff. So it's really about hitting notes with not a lot of air, and so his vocal skills teach you that, and it's what he calls it is vocalizing. So what I do is I vocalize every day, and then I sing like Buckcherry songs every other day. So when I'm at home, but when I'm on the road, I'm singing all the time. And even when I take a day off, I'm vocalizing so that I'm always conditioned for the vocal technique, And then there's a lot of other things. What you eat. I don't drink
Mhm.
any cold. I don't drink any cold beverages. I don't drink anything once I warm up. I don't drink anything on stage anymore. I saw a video of like Steve Perry and Journey singing like in the height of his career, and I was like, wow, this guy's. Did I cut out?
Yeah.
Did I cut
You
out?
did. You did for a little. We got you though. You're back.
Well, anyway, so I started watching
Yeah.
Steve Perry, and he had this amazing vocal technique. But then I noticed he wasn't drinking any water in between songs. He was just, and so, and then I watched Bruce Springsteen, and he kind of did the same thing. And I'm like, what? So I tried it, and what I noticed was I was more flexible. My voice stayed more flexible when I didn't drink water. So
Wow.
I really hydrate really good before show, and then I do the whole show, and then I drink water after. So
Nice.
that's part of regimen, and I got a lot of other things, but I
Right.
warm up and I warm my voice down after a show, which, I learned along the way that you got to warm your voice down after a show, which I didn't do for a lot of years.
Yeah. And it's clear. I mean, the listening to this Hellbound record, this is a guy who has total control of his voice, and he's still as strong as ever. I mean, it's so strong. You sound great on this
Thank
record.
you. Thank
Really
you.
great. I want to ask you about Kevin
Yeah.
Wrenchen. He was gone right after that show that I saw in 2020. You had to be recording the album around that time because you had it ready in like October, right? Is he on the record?
No.
Okay. Is
No,
it Billy Rowe?
he was gone before we started songwriting, and
Okay.
yeah, Billy did some slide stuff, and he did a few things, but he was really new, and we had already gone through the process, and we really have a good understanding on how to get a Buckcherry record together, and
Right.
no offense to Billy, it's just that he wasn't in the band long enough, and
Sure.
but we're definitely going to implement him more over time. He's been such a great new piece of the puzzle, and he's got such a great long history being in Jet Boy
Yeah.
for as long as he has. I think they still do shows, and just a
Okay.
lovely guy, and we definitely want to get him in on the recording and songwriting, and that'll probably be the next record because we were just too far along and had too many things going on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have him in the band, Jet Boy. Long history, great tunes, and you guys have a similar style. He's like a
Yeah.
perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the most important thing you've learned from the recording process? I have this new record. It's like you say, I mean, it's you weren't in that place of crazy bitch kind of stuff. The debut is a different record, obviously, and each record seems to have a different aspect of Buckcherry. What's the most important thing you've learned in the writing and recording process from the debut to now?
So many things. I've learned I'm just a better songwriter. I've written lyrics, melodies for the entire Buckcherry history. It comes from my head, and so I've learned a lot over the years. I've learned more about transitions and pre-choruses and choruses and how to set up parts and just all kinds of things, and you can hear it from record to record. I've really learned a lot about my vocal range and have grown over time with that as well, I mean, and that's what I think every singer and songwriter does over time. If they're always a student of the game and they're making records, consistently, there's no other option but to grow.
Yeah, and there is a growth with each record. It's really great. Now you lost Keith a few years back. The word is that the grind, it was a grind, and I mean, you guys grind more than anybody out there. Like I say, you guys are road dogs. It's write, record, tour. Do you ever see yourself not being able to do that grind or not wanting to do that grind?
Of course you see yourself, and it's usually when you're just tired and you haven't been home for a year. You think, oh my God, like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. And then you get home, and we get re-energized really quick because we're conditioned that way. So we can be home for 3 days and we're like, okay, I'm ready, and that's how quick it turns itself around. But no, I am super driven guy, and I wear people out, and I'm also obsessive, and I can be a workaholic, so I have to be very careful, and I know this about myself, so that part of it, I really have to work on balance in my life, and I've been doing that through a lot of things. I do a lot of things to work on balance, One of them is meditation. I got into that. Stevie and I got into meditation about 4 years ago, and that has really helped slow me down a little bit, which is good. But yeah, I'm getting older. I can feel it. My body doesn't snap back like it used to. All the things that people say when they get older, but at the end of the day, I still love building something from nothing, which is a record like Hellbound. Like, my manager said one of the most flattering things to me. Larry Mazer is my manager. He's been in the game a long time. He's managed so many great rock bands. And he goes, how does it feel to like have the best record you've ever made at 50 years old? And I'm like, wow, I never thought of it that way. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I'm so busy working. I don't look back, and I don't look too far forward, so like when I have to finally do press for a record and people go, okay, so it's been 22 years and this and that, and I'm just like wow, it doesn't really dawn on me till then.
When I like when I said this is your ninth studio record, and I'm like, no way. I'm thinking I was getting into that debut that long ago. No way. So
99.
It's pretty crazy. It really is. And I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the ink. You're the most inked guy in rock and roll, and it looks so great, man. You keep your body in crazy great shape. It's what's the craziest story behind the tattoo? You got a tattoo that carries a crazy story?
Oh, wow. I don't know, like Kevin Quinn tattoos the majority of my body. I'm actually getting tattooed Thursday before I hit the road.
Nice.
But I think the craziest story is my back piece. A lot of people ask about that, and it's so huge, and just kind of came to me in a dream, which was, it's a Suicide King of Hearts, the only king in the deck with a knife through his head, and a couple of my favorite words, love and desire. And it's not really a crazy story, but it was crazy pain getting to the end of that one. I remember lying down and having Kevin do the scratch outline on my back for that thing, and I was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like the pain was brutal. And then,
Really?
but once it gets mapped out, like with the outline, then it becomes manageable because you just work in like little sections till it's done. But that was a big undertaking.
I mean, until it's done, which had to be months, right? I mean, the things.
Months.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting tattooed a lot at that point. Kevin would like literally work on me like every 2 weeks. And so we would work on the top, and then the top would start healing. Right. And then we would start working on the bottom while the top was still like healing, and
wow.
just keep going. Cause I was like, I'm not stopping till this thing's done, or I'll never get it done,
Right. And it looks great, man. It's so cool. I'm a photographer as well, so I got to photograph you, and it's like, you're so photographable, man. And it's like so cool. All
That's
that
cool.
color. It's really cool. Do you have a bucket list item? Do you have something on the top of that list that you still want to do? And
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I want to go to a MotoGP race in Japan, and maybe over in Spain, that would be good. And then I want to go to Africa and see like gorillas in the wild, and at some point.
You're cutting out a little bit. Are you back?
Yeah, where'd I cut out?
Okay. Gorillas in the wild. You want to go to Africa?
Yeah, I'm pretty fascinated with Africa, so I want to go see some gorillas and some elephants and maybe some tigers. I mean, I really love the big cats, but I don't know if I want to get too close, like in a safari vehicle. I don't know. I'd be a little sketched out about that, but
right.
Yeah, they're fascinating.
Yeah, no doubt. Movie roles. You've had a few. And of course your wife, model and actress.
Yes.
Do you enjoy the movie roles? Do you have any on the horizon?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I just, I don't have a lot of time for it the thing that started happening is I have to go out on auditions. This is after I'd already done a bunch of work, and
Right.
I'd come home and it'd be like, oh, you got to go to audition in Santa Monica. And I'm like, I'm not driving to Santa Monica. You going down there and it takes like a half a day to do an audition. And then most of the time you never hear from anybody again. And so I just wasn't in that place where I could do that dance. So I started losing agents because I wouldn't go out on auditions and then I go on the road and it'd just be months and months. And they'd be like, you know what, we're moving on because, you're never available. And I go, I understand. So most of the stuff that I got was all through my relationships that had to do with music. So, and I was grateful to do it. And I did a lot of work and I loved it. But at this point, I'd really want to be challenged, with a big role where I could put my own input into it, a character, and do something like that. If that opportunity comes, nobody's banging down my door to do any movie roles right now.
Right. Yeah, that would be fun to see. Fun to see. I know you're a big boxing fan. What's your favorite fight that you've seen? I was a big
Oh
boxing
man,
fan myself, so
let me just see. Let me just think. Oh, I just went to John Ruiz Areola.
okay.
Yeah, I went to that fight in Carson, California, just live. I was like third row, and it was amazing. That fight was like fight of the year so far.
Yeah,
It was an amazing fight. So that's the best fight I've seen this year so far.
cool.
I'm looking forward to Tank Davis getting back in the ring. That's going to be great. I wish Errol Spence would fight Crawford. I can't believe that fight hasn't been made, but now he's fighting Manny Pacquiao, which I don't
Oh,
understand. But
yeah.
it'd
Manny's
be nice.
Manny's got to be
Yeah.
older now. I mean,
Oh, he's really,
yeah,
he is old. That's
yeah.
why,
He's been
I'd
doing
like
it.
to see Spence fight Crawford, and then what else is I got? Oh, I'd like to see. Trying to think of names right now. There's so many great fighters out there right now, and great
Yep,
fights to be made.
yep.
Um, Teofimo is amazing, amazing fighter. Oh, Lomachenko is going to be fighting some guy. I love Lomachenko, so
Okay.
he's awesome.
Yeah. Did you ever think about fighting yourself? I mean,
No.
you've gotten in the ring, right? You've done
Yeah,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do boxing to keep in shape, and
Right.
back in the day, I would spar a little bit, but nothing like. Uh, but I love it. I love boxing, and the training's incredible. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't need the head trauma. That it's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a lot of head trauma.
No doubt.
I've sparred at Wild Card boxing gym, Freddie Roach's gym, and
Oh yeah.
one time they put me in with a real young kid, and he was unloading on me, and it was like. Okay, I mean, I had headgear on and everything, but it's you got to be prepared when you go in there and spar.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Um, do you have a gig now? You're ready to hit the road. Supporting this record. Is there a gig that's most memorable for you so far?
There's so many. I mean, I couldn't just name one. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the highlights would probably be Woodstock '99. Then we got to open up for AC/DC 4 shows, which is just unbelievable. One at Madison Square Garden with
Oh,
AC/DC.
awesome.
I mean, that's rock and roll fantasy come true.
Yep.
Our first arena shows were opening up for Kiss in Europe, and that was the first time we've been to Europe. Really memorable. We opened up for Aerosmith for the Millennium New Year's Osaka, Japan show. That was crazy. There's so many amazing,
Man.
amazing, amazing stories.
Mm.
We saw we did a show in London or somewhere in Europe. I mean, that was the UK, but somewhere in Europe. And we had a show the next day in the United States. And we flew literally like 14 hours. Did it cut out?
A little bit, but I got you. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, we flew like 14 hours to get to some place in the United States. I can't even remember where it was. It was the middle of summer. It was a festival. None of us had slept. We're on like mid-afternoon and it is fucking packed, right? And Crazy Bitch is like at its peak.
Right.
So, and we are dead. And we didn't even think we were gonna make it to the show because
Wow.
the second flight was delayed. And we get there and it's like our tour manager just was like, okay, we got 1 hour and you guys are on stage. And I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? You know, for a singer, not having sleep
Yep.
and then singing Buckcherry is no bueno. So I just, you know, we just had to man up. I mean, there's so many shows like that, but I mean, this one was, we just had to man up. We could hear the crowd, and that was motivating us. And we're like, it's going to be nuts. Let's just go kill this, you know?
Yeah.
And we went out there and just handled it, leveled the place. There was like this guy, they were crowd surfing some dude in a wheelchair.
No way.
It was just bananas. It was so amazing. And I'll never forget that show. And mostly because we just didn't think we could pull it off, you know.
Right. And you pulled it off, and
we pulled it off.
To be a great one. Yeah, that's cool. I got a question here. You say they're going to put a monument for, you know, Buckcherry, a tribute to Buckcherry. They can put one song on this thing. What do you think is one song out of your catalog, which is ridiculous, that kind of epitomizes Buckcherry? You know,
I hope it wouldn't be Crazy Bitch, but that's probably what everybody would want to put on there. But
what would you put on there, though?
Man, that's such a hard ass question. You know, I would say Hellbound, because Hellbound is about the very first show I did. That's what the song's about. So
15, right?
What?
You were 15, right?
I was 15, and it was a house party in Orange County, California, and it was such an incredible moment. You know, I remember the very first song was Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, and just came out, and the place was packed. Everybody was hammered, and it was like, wow, just feeling that rush was like, wow, this is amazing. This is it. This is all, I'm cutting off the lifeboat. This is all I'm doing. This is it. This is where I'm going. I knew it at that moment. That was the turning point, and that's what Hellbound's about.
Man, that's cool.
That would be the song.
That's cool. And I can see that, man. That's just a killer song. And you know, without that show, we might not be sitting here. It's pretty great.
Right. That's right.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, man. You're on the tour June 25th. The album comes out. Roundhill Music, Hellbound.
Yes.
And you're coming out to my way, I think, August 20th in Lombard, Illinois. I'm here in Chicago. Can't wait to see you, man.
Great, man. It'll be good. Come and say hello. And you guys can pre-order the Hellbound record right now at buckcherry.com. And we'll see you at the rock show.
Yeah. Awesome.
And look out for the Hellbound video this Wednesday, May 26th.
That's so cool that you're doing that tune too. It's one of my favorites on the record, and one of my favorites in the Buckcherry catalog. So best of luck to you, Josh, man. And again, I appreciate all the time, and let's promote the hell out of this record, and I'll come see you, man.
For sure. Thank you, man. Be
all
good.
Right. Take care, Josh. Thanks.